Hey, what's up, guys? I recently saw this tweet about 7 alternatives to Viagra, and I thought it'd be good to make a video response to this and talk about my opinion on Viagra itself and whether or not I think men should be using Viagra and the viability of the things listed here as alternatives for Viagra. So first of all, let's understand what Viagra actually is, where it comes from, and a little bit about the biochemistry of how it works. Viagra is a synthetic compound. It is man-made, it's not naturally occurring, and it works as a vasodilator, which means it causes the blood cells to widen, and this results in increased blood flow to the penis. It's typically taken orally as one of these little blue pills, and it usually takes about 20 minutes to kick in, and it can last for several hours. Okay. So now let's understand what causes men to be unable to get an erection or perform during sex in the first place. So you can kind of break down the reasons why guys would have erectile dysfunction into 2 categories. The first category is like purely physical things. These are things like heart disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, etc. And the second category is mental causes. And mental causes would include things like anxiety, stress, feeling nervous, feeling overwhelmed, etc. I'm not really going to talk about the first category of physical issues because chances are if you have one or more of those problems, then getting your dick hard is one of your smallest problems, pun intended. I would recommend going to see a healthcare professional and figuring out how to sort out those issues first before you worry about sexual performance. But we are going to talk about the mental issues because in most cases, when guys think they have some serious physical issue causing their erectile dysfunction, actually it's just all in their head and they just have one or more of the mental issues that I just talked about. Now, I actually don't like the term erectile dysfunction because it sounds super serious. It sounds like your dick is broken, which it's not actually broken, especially if you're a relatively young guy who's living a relatively healthy life. I promise you, in most cases, like 99% of the time, your dick is perfectly healthy and you don't need to be taking Viagra. You probably don't even need any supplementation at all. You just need to have a better understanding of what's actually going on when you cannot perform in the bedroom. So what's actually happening most of the time is that you're preoccupied with something else, or you're stressed, or you're anxious. Maybe you feel a little bit nervous on a first sexual encounter or something like that. And that's what's causing you to be unable to get hard. And of course, it's just a downward spiral from there where you're just sitting there looking at your dick going,
I've done everything you wanted me to do. So why did you do this to me?
And what happens to your body on a biological level when you're feeling really anxious is that you basically go into fight or flight mode. And that means that your blood flow is redirected away from your extremities, meaning blood is not going to your arms or your legs or your dick, and instead that blood is being redirected to your core organs in your torso. Those are the organs that are most essential for your survival, and that's why the blood is being redirected there. So in other words, your brain doesn't know that you're trying to get your dick wet. It has no idea that you're trying to smash, and instead it's just trying to keep you alive. And this shouldn't come as a surprise, but even when you're psychologically aroused, you're still going to need some steady blood flow into your dick to be able to get an erection. So essentially, Viagra and other vasodilators are just enabling your body to have a regular system of blood flow throughout the entire body, even under circumstances where your blood flow would be restricted or redirected, like due to anxiety or stress. Okay, so going back to this list here, the only thing listed here that actually is a vasodilator like Viagra is L-citrulline. So that's the only thing listed here that will enable a very similar biochemical reaction to what Viagra would do. Now, I want to be clear, I think this is a perfectly healthy routine. I don't think there's anything wrong with supplementing these things in the quantities that they're listed at here. And I think it's very reasonable that men should be getting at least 30 minutes of daily sunlight and they should be working out a few days per week lifting heavy weights, doing some cardio. I think all of that is really great. However, just because you're doing all the things on this list, meaning you're taking these supplements, you're getting your sunlight, you're hitting the gym 3 times a week, that does not mean that you will always be able to have a rock hard erection every time you have sex. Even if you do all this stuff, if you're still super anxious or stressed out when you're getting ready to have sex, then you will very possibly have trouble performing. I want guys to understand that this is normal. If you feel anxious, that will impact your ability to perform sexually. And I think this is really important to say, because oftentimes when guys are in that situation, their immediate reaction is, oh my God, I have erectile dysfunction. Oh my God, my dick is broken. I have low testosterone. I'm getting old, etc., etc. But actually, most guys have this type of experience at some point in their life. Even myself, as someone who has a lot of sex, who works in the sex industry, even I have situations where I feel anxious and I can't get it up, or I feel nervous because it's my first time having sex with a girl that I'm really attracted to. This stuff happens to me as well. And another thing that guys are often not aware of is that it's very normal to not have a massive hard-on the entire time you're having sex. I think this is especially an issue for younger guys who grew up with easily accessible pornography when they were young, just because they're used to seeing guys rock hard 100% of the time in videos. And I want to be clear, that is definitely an illusion. Just like how fight scenes in Hollywood movies are illusions, and they aren't an actual representation of what's happening on a movie set, those scenes in porn often cut out the parts where the guy isn't fully hard, and they stitch things together to make it look like his erection is continuous. It's also very common for guys in this industry to be taking Viagra before shooting.
Now, have I ever used these things? Hell no. Just kidding, guys. I use Viagra. This isn't a promotion for Viagra or anything, but I do take it and it works, definitely. And it's probably the go-to medication for guys in porn. But I think the majority of guys in the business are definitely taking these kind of drugs.
So don't expect your body to behave exactly the same way you see it in adult entertainment. And don't stress yourself out, because I guarantee you that the guys who are performing in those videos also are not hard some of the time. It's just not included usually in the videos. Same goes for me. I also use Viagra sometimes when I'm filming, and I cut out the parts where I'm not fully hard. So if you're just looking for a quick fix here, then L-citrulline is an amino acid that acts as a vasodilator, very similarly to Viagra, but in a lot of cases, I don't think guys need supplementation. Sometimes the best thing is to just talk to your partner and just say, hey, look, I'm really anxious because you're really hot and I feel a little bit nervous, and just tell her what's up. Don't feel ashamed. It's very normal. It's a normal experience for guys to have. If you're feeling stressed before you have sex, maybe just wait until you're not so stressed, and you could talk to your partner and say, hey, I'm really stressed at work. I've got all this stuff going on. So, I'm not in a very sexual mood right now. A lot of the time, just voicing how you feel can help you relax as well. Also, having a good understanding of what your sexual triggers are can really help. For example, I really like having my ears kissed and licked. So a lot of times, even when I am a little bit preoccupied or feeling a little bit anxious, if a girl does that, I'll just start to feel really turned on anyway, and I can usually get hard. All right, that's it. I hope this video helps someone. If you have any tips, tricks, or want to share your personal experiences, please leave a comment. See you guys later.